I'd like to officially call this work session meeting of the Mayor and Council to order. At this time, I'd ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silent prayer and our reflection as we continue to think about the conflict in the Middle East, the United States military personnel who have recently lost their lives, and the safe return of all hostages. Please salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please note the fire exits behind you into the main hallway, and to my right, your left, into the courtroom. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and attend any meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests was discussed or acted upon. In accordance with this act, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Milford have caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the Borough Hall, and notices have been sent to the record in the Ridgewood News. The mission of this governing body is to provide essential services through the establishment and implementation of public policy that will safeguard infrastructure, provide fair, honest, courteous, and professional services, establish a sense of trust and accomplishment between all residents, and through research and prudent planning seek to minimize risk while improving our services. We are sensitive to the needs and satisfaction of our taxpayers, while realizing that this governing body cannot be all things to all people, within the revenue constraints imposed by state mandates, economic conditions, and prevailing attitudes about taxation. At this time, I would ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilwoman Sandhusen. Here. Councilwoman Starkey Hurley. Present. Councilwoman Duffy. Here. Councilman Grotzky.
Here.
Councilman Seymour.
Here.
Council President Grant. Here. Mayor Petrino.
Here. Okay, first thing on the agenda tonight is a proclamation for Black History Month. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas the history of Black history goes back to 1915 and was first celebrated in 1926. And whereas in 1976, President Gerald Ford issued the first African American History Month proclamation. And whereas National Black History Month serves as both a celebration and as a powerful reminder that Black history is American history and Black culture is American culture. And whereas understanding Black history is important to understanding our nation. And whereas it is appropriate to acknowledge and celebrate the immeasurable contributions of Black Americans, honor the legacies and achievements of generations past, recognize past injustice, and confront injustices that still fester today. And whereas we are committed to advancing equity and racial justice, and whereas an African American burying ground was recently discovered in New Milford that is believed to date back to well before 1883, and whereas we will support the recognition and acknowledgement of this African American burying ground in which enslaved people were buried, and whereas the Borough of New Milford wishes to honor the history and contributions of African Americans in our community, our state, and our nation. Now therefore I, Mayor Michael Petrino, Mayor of the Borough of New Milford, proclaim February 2024 to be Black History Month, and encourage all residents and businesses to celebrate our diverse heritage and culture and continue efforts to create a world that is more just and more peaceful.
Chris, you have an extra agenda. You forgot to give me one. She needs an agenda.
Okay. Under unfinished business, may I get a motion for the approval of the minutes from the January 22nd, 2024 public session meeting?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
I abstain.
Any opposed? And one abstention. Okay. We have one ordinance for adoption tonight, and when the clerk gets an opportunity, I'd ask her to please read the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Borough of New Milford, entitled Administration, thereby amending subsection 2-40, Free Public Library.
The purpose of this ordinance is to reduce the number of Board of Trustees from 9 to 7. At this time, I would ask for a motion to open to the public for a public hearing on this ordinance.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, if anyone has any questions regarding this ordinance, now is your opportunity to discuss it. Seeing that no member of the public wishes to discuss this ordinance, I ask for motion to close the public.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? May I get a motion to adopt this ordinance on its final reading?
So moved. Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Councilwoman San Newsom.
Yes.
Councilwoman Starkey Hurley.
Yes.
Councilwoman Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
Under new business, we have introduction of ordinance 2024:02. And when the clerk has the opportunity, I'd ask her to please read the ordinance.
Capital ordinance to appropriate the sum of $71,000 for the replacement of lighting at LaBarbera Field in by and for the Borough of New Milford in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a county grant and from the Open Space Trust Fund of the borough.
The purpose of this ordinance is to appropriate funds from the Bergen County Open Space Grant and the Borough of New Milford's Open Space Trust to replace lighting at LaBarbera Field with energy-efficient light fixtures. May I get a motion to introduce this ordinance on its first reading?
Motion. Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Can I get a question?
Sure.
What's the breakdown of the funds between the two sources?
The grant is for $33,000.
So then we'll make up the rest.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I think we're on a second. No, we're on roll call, right?
Yes. Councilwoman San Newsom.
Yes.
Councilwoman Starkey Hurley.
Yes.
Councilwoman Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
The public hearing on this ordinance will be at our February 26th public meeting. The second ordinance up for introduction tonight is 2024:03. And when the clerk has the opportunity, I'd ask her to please read the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Borough of New Milford entitled Administration, thereby amending Article 5 entitled Boards, Commissions, and Committees.
The purpose of this ordinance is to codify the composition and duties of various standing committees within the borough. May I get a motion to introduce this ordinance on its first reading?
So moved. Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Councilwoman San Newsom.
Yes.
Councilwoman Starkey Hurley.
Yes.
Councilwoman Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
The public hearing for this ordinance will also be at our February 26th meeting. And the last one up for introduction tonight is 2024:04. When the clerk has the opportunity, I say please read the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 4 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Borough of New Milford entitled General Licensing, thereby amending Section 4-19 entitled Commercial and Movie Filming.
The purpose of this ordinance is to modify the borough's existing commercial and movie filming ordinance to facilitate the borough's pursuit of the film-ready designation from the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission. May I get a motion to introduce this ordinance on its first reading?
Motion.
Second.
That was a mouthful. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman San Newsom.
Yes.
Councilwoman Starkey Hurley.
Yes.
Councilwoman Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
Once again, this ordinance will also have a public hearing at our February 26th meeting. Okay. Item number 1 is NJDOT fiscal year 2024 Boulevard Phase 2 Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. As you may recall, we had made a grant application for paving of the boulevard for a certain section from Henley Avenue to the front of 451 Boulevard. It was a DOT application. We requested $359,500, and we were awarded a grant of $186,939, so approximately 50% of the grant request. So we have a few options. There's actually 3 different options that the engineer has scaled the project for us. The first one would be from Monmouth Avenue north to 451 Boulevard. Option 2 is from Monmouth Avenue north to approximately 502 Boulevard. And option 3 is from 451 Boulevard to 616 Boulevard. So here's where we're at. In order for us to do the entire project, the borough would have to fund the balance with a bond ordinance or capital improvement fund money. And the question, they did do a new construction estimate and have scaled it back to $234,000. But depending on, so there's a difference between what we would owe between the 189 and the 234, and then the engineering costs would be on top of that as well. I'm sorry, no, okay. So my question to the mayor and council is, how do we want to proceed? And I had asked from the DPW's perspective, if we couldn't do the entire project because we weren't willing to bond the balance, which would be the best, which is in the most need? And the answer was from 451 Boulevard south to approximately 616 Boulevard, just south of Duke Road, was what was proposed. That would still involve some financing from the mayor, from the borough in order to cover the engineering costs, but it would be much less than if we would have moved forward with the entire project. Ideally, we'd like to move forward with the DPW and myself would like to be able to do the whole project. The other option is to fund more into our road program budget for the year in order to cover the balance.
The choices you gave us, was that the full, and then like the middle, and then like not funding at all?
Okay.
Because you listed addresses, and I don't know.
Yes. So it says Henley Avenue north to Monmouth Avenue has been paved sometime within the last few years and is in good condition. So they revised the scope to Monmouth Avenue north to 451 Boulevard, which is an approximate distance of 2,150 feet. And that construction estimate is $234,000. And the engineering for that option would be $78,000 for design and bidding and construction administration.
234 and we're going to charge 78, that's...
Oh, wait, sorry, 58, sorry, 58.
Even then, that's...
Yeah.
Alright, so that's option 1.
That's option 1.
I suppose no call should be made.
That's 292,000 and we have
I pose those
187.
questions every time.
I'm sure you do.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Then we have option 2. Both option 2 and option 3 are the approximate same linear feet. So that's why I had asked out of option 2 and 3, which would be the most important. And so option 2 is Monmouth Avenue north to approximately 502 Boulevard. And then the other option is from 451 Boulevard south to 616 Boulevard.
And which is
The engineering for both of those turns out to be $51,000.
which section is in more need?
It's the same section, it's the length of it. So option 1 was 2,000 something feet. The second option was, does it say? Was it like 1,000?
Yeah, 1,725 feet.
Okay, so it's 500 feet less. And option 3 is...
The same distance, it's just a different
So
location.
that was Monmouth to
So
502
we're talking about
Boulevard.
500, roughly 500-600 feet over.
And no matter which part of the project we do, the grant stays the same.
Yes,
And then we would make up.
the difference, yes.
So, what's the lowest cost? I mean, if we're gonna decide on just the lowest cost, what would it be? Option 2? I mean,
So,
you have to
option 2 or
decide
3
to it.
have been scaled so that the construction will be covered by the grant. The engineering would still be funded by the borough.
Which would be $51,000.
Yes. As opposed to 105
So that would come out of CIF
or a bond,
or bond.
yes.
Okay, the way my last information is this year, DPW is looking to spend $110,000 on paving. I mean, this is gonna go before the budget committee and everything. We haven't totally discussed it. I just have information at this point.
However,
And
we're asking for more than 110.
I'm getting there,
Okay.
okay?
We might be getting ahead of ourselves.
I know.
Two different things?
Yes.
Or are you talking about-
Stick with,
Yeah.
the difference is another $50,000 to do the project.
Right.
We're funding above the grant because we didn't get the whole grant.
So is anyone around the table considering the whole project?
Well, apparently, from what I
I mean, ideally, that is
Yeah.
the way to go.
It's, it's paving where it's really
It's not even the whole project. They eliminated 500 feet from the project to get to that point.
It's one of our busiest roads.
Do we have,
So, I'm sorry, what was the total project for all three, total amount for all three projects?
Our portion of the largest piece would be 105 we would have to put in. And the best case scenario, in order to do anything that makes any sense at all,
Right.
would be $51,000.
My feeling is you go with the 51,000.
We haven't seen the budget yet for this year, so I really don't know how.
That's just it. I'm trying to give some information and...
It's
It's not,
interesting to
yeah.
be talking about it at this point in time, because normally these things are talked about in a vacuum, not based upon the budget. And I understand that they're all related, but it is a separate discussion, because when we do road projects that we get grants for, the way that we finance them generally is with a bond ordinance. We've just been very fortunate in recent years that we've been able to cover our portion with leftover road program money, capital improvement money. We've been making a very good distribution of the funds that we have at our fingertips. But at this point in time, our road program, there's much less surplus in our leftover road program than has been in the past. So,
Well, it seems that we need
I
to
think it's important
minimize.
to do it. I think it's important.
doing the whole thing?
Turn up
Doing
on
the whole
project.
thing?
That's my feeling. but-
Will that come in at a
Sure.
total 350 that we're thinking of?
it could be looked
Should we go
at completely
forward?
separately.
Yeah, it could be.
Because the 350 that we're talking about is money that we're looking at for the next topic of conversation.
I just know that sometimes we'll do a road program or a project, and we don't go far enough, and we're like, we should have just.
Yeah.
The hard
Yeah.
note,
Yeah.
doesn't go away.
It's
It's gonna have to be addressed, so we
so,
might as well do
Just
it
get it
in
done.
one project.
Well, it's always next year, though.
So we're talking, if we do the whole thing, it's gonna be 292,
This one is connected to a grant.
it's gonna be $105,000.
Yes.
which is not
Not a killer.
considering the
No,
amount
it's not chump change at
of
all.
grant
It's-
that we're getting.
It's an important decision, but like I said, it's not going away. This project's connected to the grant. I think we move forward with it, but it's on you guys.
Do you need an answer tonight?
I am looking for direction because we're kind of in a holding pattern at this point.
Tyler, what were your thoughts on this? Did you say you wanted to go with it?
I would have gone with we're gonna be doing a lot of paving over the next several years. And Chris was alluding to that we'll have a discussion about that. It's still in the budget committee and stuff, we still have to talk about it and present it. But to give an insight, PSE&G is going to be paving our roads.
But not this road, Ira.
Not this road, but I'm talking in general that it's still gonna cost us money. Money is money. So, that's the point I'm making. But PSE&G over the next 2
The thing is,
years,
we generally commit $350,000, between $3 and $350 every single year toward roads.
well, 250.
No.
We did
Yeah, but our
250.
taxes were higher last year than they had been in the few previous years. So, to me, that's a concern.
But the
Well, if you're
thing is-
bonding, it's not gonna
It
affect,
doesn't go away.
the bonding is not going to affect your taxes. What we do now won't affect it for another 10 years.
I thought you weren't in favor at this point of bonding.
I'm trying to keep bonding as low as possible, but we could keep it. I think we could probably do about a $750,000 bond. Over the last 5 years, I saw that we reduced our debt by over $3 million, or approximately $3 million. So we could do, my feeling is, and again, I'm just throwing out numbers because we haven't really sat down and, gone through it, $500,000 to maybe $750,000 in bonding. Of that, we're talking about using $350,000 this year, and in the next 2 subsequent years, which we can't plan for, okay? But the whole idea is with PSE&G paving will only be paving half the road. We know that looks like garbage, okay, when they do that.
This is another topic.
That's another topic, but they're asking the question.
Well, we're kind of asking the amount of money in the line for the paving. You're saying, here's a paving project, and the DPW is going to pave this.
I'm not trying to minimize the fact that there's financial consequences.
Yeah.
You should be looking at whether or not we need to do this part of the project or this part of the project. That should be and if the answer is, I want to go out and take a look at the road and we can talk about it at our next meeting, then we'll just wait a couple of weeks and do that. But it should, yes, the money has to be considered, but we do have a grant for $189,000 from the DOT that we want to make the best use of, $186,000 from DOT that we want to make the best use of.
There's no doubt we need to use that money. The question is, do we want to go spend $105,000, or do we want to go $51,000?
Right. The difference is the part, if you go $51,000, the other part does not go away. It's going to have to be addressed.
Yes.
So my feeling is, we have the grant.
Do you want a motion?
Yes, I'd like a motion. Someone like to make a motion, that would be great.
Going round and
I
round.
make a motion and just go for it.
Go for it?
On the
Okay.
recommendation of our administrator and our mayor
And their DPW.
and our DPW. And that this be considered when they go to put a paving line, put the money in their line, we're spending $100 of it. Right? So if you want to talk about money,
Okay,
That's
that's where we'll get that from.
we'll
Okay,
take it from there.
okay.
Is there a second on Randy's motion?
Second.
Can I get roll call, please?
Sure. Councilman Samuelson.
Yes.
Councilman Rafi Hurley.
Yes.
Councilman Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
All right,
That's only number one.
we got a preview of number 2. I'm sorry. PSE&G Gas System Modernization Program Administrator.
Yes,
Not
thank you,
Grotzky.
Mayor. Yes. Well, the mayor and I both sat in on a meeting on February 1st with Public Service to talk about work that they would like to do in the borough, to the borough's residents' benefit. We currently operate on a quarter PSI gas system. They're proposing to upgrade a number of streets, which I have a list of, with 15 PSI to the newly installed area. The higher pressure is much less likely to have a chance of water infiltration into the pipes. They're less prone to leaks and breaks due to weather. Safety valves are installed at the head of each service to prevent gas flow in the event of gas service damage on the property. Gas meters are moved outdoors to eliminate high-pressure pipes inside homes. Outside gas meters will also allow meter readers to read from the outdoors and allow for the gas to be shut off in the event of emergency. All services within the replacement area will receive new plastic services, which will have the capacity to supply gas to any equipment or appliance.
Chris, when in 2016, they did not, I thought they did the entire town.
No.
They only
No.
did a section of town?
They did sections, yes.
Everything is in the sections, and there's still sections left over after this project.
And the streets that are involved are Asbury, Berkeley, East Woodland, Henley, Maybe, Monmouth, Pleasant, Clinton. It's a significant area of the town, that they're proposing to do the work in. And this is an add-on to their particular funding that they have from the BPU for this, because they basically had wrapped it up, but there's so much more to do, and they granted them an extension, and so they're offering the opportunity for us to get in on this extension. And if we pass, then they're going to move on to the next town. But it would look like tentatively a start date of late summer, early fall 2024, and completion, in 2025. Now, as you know, we did something similar, like you said, a few years ago, and one of the tricky parts is we have an ordinance that says if you open up more than a certain piece, you have to do curb-to-curb replacement, and Public Service says it's just completely cost prohibitive in order to do that. And for that reason, that was one of the reasons they bypassed us, because we had an understanding the last time that they were in that did not turn out the way that we were told it was going to turn out, and so we kind of put a pause on whether or not we were going to continue to work with them. But in recent times, with this project in particular, we've talked to some of the other towns that they've been in, and what they've done is worked with the town to use road program money that the town's budgeted to make the most of the paving budget between what we have and what they have, in order to make sure that we don't have half-paved streets. So one of the things that we talked about in our budget meeting was the DPW is making a very concerted effort this year to keep what they need or think that has to be done right now to a minimum, which I said is somewhere in the area of $100,000. But what we're proposing is that over the next 3 years, we would budget the same amount of money that we normally do in our road program, so that when the time comes to work with Public Service to pave these streets, we'll end up with a significant amount of mileage with newly paved streets in town.
We're not going to use the money right away, but we're going to build a surplus for road paving, so it'll be in our road paving bank.
The whole thing is to maximize the curb.
It's about
Absolutely.
8 miles of roadway in New Milford that they're talking about.
In the contract that you have with PSE&G, does it mention subcontracting the work?
Well, we don't have anything in place, but we did talk to them about whether or not they would do the work or if they would contract it. They've done it both ways. They said for here, they would be subcontracting it.
This is the road paving specifically?
This is the gas mains, replacing the gas mains.
They said they'd have 3 or 4 crews, and it would be 10 to 12 months, and it done in sections, and likely to start in the fall of 2024. And when we talked about it, they said they have a 6-month window in order to complete paving, because we said, how far can we push it out, because we want to be able to maximize the amount of road program money that we would have available, and if we have money from 24, 25, and 26, that would make it more advantageous. And they said, their goal would be to get it done all in 2025, but it could be pushed to 2026, and if that was what was better in terms of how the town wanted to manage it.
I'm wondering what kind of protections there are for the homeowners in case any damage occurs.
Well, they have to have permission from the homeowners in order to make the connections. That's the same way that we did it the last time. And they're on the hook for whatever goes on, with the homeowner.
Yes, in writing they are, yes. I understand.
Is there any other questions about that? But I guess we would have been talking about this earlier, except I would let them just do half-paved streets. I don't really like them too much.
They have letters that, they gave us form letters that they have, that they would be sending out to residents to let them know, what they would be doing, and the fact that there's going to be traffic and, heavy equipment, etc.
I remember that letter.
Yeah.
We're good on number 2?
I think so. Any other questions?
Item number 3 is DCA LRIG grant.
Yes. So this is a relatively new grant that we've come in contact with in recent years. And last year, we did it to replace the playground equipment at Prospect Park. It's not insignificant, but it's one of the smaller recreation grants with a maximum of $100,000. And it had a very short window in order to commit. So we talked about it in committee with the mayor, the DPW, John Heineman, myself, and our grants person. And one of the projects that we talked about was to add a volleyball court down over by the basketball courts at Kennedy Field. And we did get an estimate from the engineer for the cost of that work, somewhere in the vicinity of $83,000, which only includes half of the engineering because the grant would cover a certain percentage. And there's a resolution on tonight's agenda to authorize this application in an amount not to exceed $100,000.
Way back in 1993, we had a volleyball court, a sand volleyball court, which was great.
Right.
Volleyball is a need we definitely have. We don't offer any outdoor volleyball in town. We actually have the net. We have the professional net, just not a nice place to put it. This would cover the sand, the borders, fencing, and keeping it safe so the volleyballs aren't rolling into the road, Robert Chester Way, and people getting plowed over.
And a couple of benches.
And a couple of benches.
Well, that would be nice. Especially
As you can see, we're doing a lot.
sport is part of our high school curriculum.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that application is due on February 27th, and as long as everybody is in agreement and the resolution goes through
It
tonight,
also
we will move forward
adds
with
to
that.
the area we've been working on. That whole area down there, which you see we're doing stuff with the paths and the chips and the wall and connecting things to Hardcastle Pond, so it just fits really nicely there. So.
Is it going to go in the same location?
Yeah, so it's next to the
Next to the
basketball courts, in between the
basketball courts.
DPW building and the basketball courts. Everyone's good with it?
Yeah.
Excellent. Number 4 is the Bergen County Open Space Park Improvement Fiscal Year 24. Administrator.
This is another park improvement grant that we take advantage of every year. And the application, we have to have a letter of intent done by April 5th with our application on May 3rd. And we're throwing around some ideas and we're looking for some input from the council. It's a matching grant. It's a 50-50 match, so, and currently we have $54,700 in our open space trust, and we generally add about $20,000 to it each quarter from the money that's
How
coming
much
through
are
the
we
county.
using out of open space for the first thing we were doing? Were we using some open space money?
On the LRIG, the volleyball, no.
No, something else.
No, it's in the,
No, I read it in the ordinance for the lights.
That's
Yeah, that's what we're using it for.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's,
I just want to make sure we have enough in the
you
open
did hear, because
space.
I read it, so yeah.
I just want to make sure we have enough in the open space.
Yes.
so have you talked about it yet, or is there any?
I mean, we talked about it. I mean, there's some big ticket items that we're interested in, but this grant doesn't necessarily cover some of those things, and because of the percent match that's required, it's harder to look at some of those things. The mayor, had mentioned that we're looking at joining the walkways in the whole recreation area from the new Milford Woods over to Hardcastle Pond. But in talking about it with the DPW, they think that they could probably cover most of that in-house. So we don't want to necessarily use the grant opportunity for that. So we were looking for some suggestions. We have a little time. If people want to think about it, have some conversations, we could put it back on the next agenda. I mean, we could talk about it at the March work session and
I would love to meet with, Ira, maybe with you and Vince, about maybe just catching up with the money that we have for Knights Field to add, plantings and trees and everything else. It's very car oriented. There's parking everywhere. It's very metallic down there. So let's find out how much money there is left in that.
I can get that information.
And then maybe part of that, the Arts Committee is getting ready to use that space for some activities coming.
Okay, we could meet with Vince next week, he'll be back.
Yeah.
This would not cover landscaping, though.
I was gonna say, is this passive park? Does this include any passive park or?
Development of new parks that are for recreation or conservation purposes and expansion or improvement of existing parks. Eligible activities include construction of a facility for outdoor area for games and sports, winter sports, boating, picnicking, fishing, biking, walking, hiking, swimming, etc. Installation of lighting and lightning detection systems and parking if it supports an outdoor recreation or conservation facility. Ineligible activities include construction of fully enclosed structures, including but not limited to restrooms, comfort stations, maintenance and storage structures, concession stands or similar, and rehabilitation on facilities that have already been developed with trust fund support less than 10 years ago.
Put in plantings. I
Yeah,
don't
with
think
the-
that's out of the question.
With the,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I know, plantings, I'm thinking, native plant garden or like
Not
Knight's Field or
Not
like,
I mean, some of it, but, we're talking about a pretty large space.
And we have all of the Blue Acre properties that would probably be
They would be better.
good
for the
opportunity
neighborhood.
for a native plant
Right.
garden.
And the unique thing about Knightsfield, there's money that's dedicated that cannot be spent anywhere else.
It's
So
already-
you have to take that money.
But I'm thinking maybe with all of your input, if we use the dedicated money for the landscape part, the big trees, we want to get some mature things there. And then maybe if we add a walkway or some stairs going down from the, whatever we design in order to have someone look at, that we could use part of it for that. I don't know.
So do you want to put this on our March work session so we have a time to look at things in
Yeah.
town? And
Would that be enough time?
is that okay? Or just have to?
Yeah, we're
Okay, let's meet with Vince next week.
There could be other,
You might see
there
something
are
else.
other
Yeah.
ideas,
Right.
Sure.
The good news is that pretty much all of our playground stuff are in really good shape.
Yeah,
And we've done a
they
lot of
are.
replacements and we've taken care of things that were damaged or graffitied and, right.
sensory
So-
garden might be kind of nice.
Okay.
A sensory garden
Yeah.
would be,
Sensory.
It's just there's not a lot of little kids' activities. Those types of things would be nice for the little ones. I don't mean babies, but I mean like, first to fifth.
sensory gardens are fun for all
I would do
ages.
it. I do know that.
Sensory gardens where you do plantings and gardens that people can actually touch.
All of them are in good shape.
So it could really touch. I'd have to show you some pictures.
So be on the next work
So
session.
then you
so we'll
can
take a
do,
look.
One of the suggestions that came out of the DPW was an accessible playground over here, because that's the only one that's really, over here. Because that's the only one that's really
Oh, okay.
due at this point for upgrading, and I think he said that there was one that was done somewhere recently that was, pretty well received.
In town?
No.
No,
Actually, I think it was Oriole.
Bergen
They
County.
put in a, I don't know the exact term of it. Is it accessible?
I think so.
I know where that is.
Right. I don't know which park it is, but I think Oriole
I think
put one
it's
in.
for
They got a
sale.
grant. Could be. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But that was just something that they suggested. So
And the bandstand has a whole part of it.
we have until March, so go take a look at things and come with ideas.
Where would we put it? Oh, we'll ask them.
No, the oldest one now is this one.
That's the,
So you would.
It would be an upgrade there.
It would be an upgrade. It would take out the old one. Never mind. Okay, item 5, this one's Randy's.
I'm willing to help where, if ever needed.
Please
This is
jump
the
in.
firefighter grant. G. Duck.
Okay, so, we've been hearing for a number of years that, at Fire Company 1, they are driving and answering calls with a 31-year-old vehicle. As we've all heard, some of the calamities that have happened with it. One was on their way home from a fire, the truck just died in the middle of the street. So that was bad. And among other things, you all took the tour, and I appreciated you all doing that. So now, Jared Birnbaum, who is from Company 2, is leading the way. He is the grants guy in the department, and he's working with, Firehouse Grants, Dave Schwartz, and they are going to apply for a grant to help replace this truck. So just to go back, like in 2022 and 23, when the fire department came to our budget meetings, we said, no truck, you're not getting it. So we suggested that they go for water rescue vehicles, equipment, training, increase your membership, blah, 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 and they did all these things. So we also constantly emphasize the need to, and the importance of acquiring a grant. So they have done that too. So here they are. They've come back after a committee has done some research on types of trucks, how loaded or how stripped down they would be. And Chris, if you want to take over the
Sure.
I have it all here, but it would sound better from you, I think. So there we go. They've done their homework.
They came in with a couple of different quotes. E1 fire apparatus, there was a $944,000 quote. And Spartan fire apparatus, initial quote of $934,000. And they're proposing, after speaking with Dave Schwartz, he's suggesting that the maximum ask would be $675,000. You will recall that we did very well in a previous grant for a fire engine. We got $750,000, but we also spent an additional, $500,000 to balance.
That was the ladder truck, which
Yes.
is the most expensive truck in anyone's fleet.
So the way that the way the request came in is that the grant writing fees, it's a $5,000 fee. It's on a resolution for tonight for approval to authorize the grant writer to make the application. The grant would require a 5% match on an award of $675,000, which would be $33,750, and the lowest quote they had was $890, so they said they would need $215,805 in order to get that to the lowest. But they're saying the borough's total expense, if there's absolutely no changes before there's an award for a fire truck, which is at least a year away at this point, would be $254,000. But they're asking for the mayor and council to commit to $325,000 because, as we all know, there's unanticipated issues, price increases. The timeline for delivery is approximately 24 to 36 months. So I think what they are trying to hedge against is they don't want to get the grant and have a specific amount set aside for the balance and have it come in at a higher amount because we're not going to be out to bid for a period of time.
Can we back up a second? You've thrown in a whole bunch of numbers, and
Yes.
I'm not quite clear on them, you talked about 5% that we would have, the borough would have to come up with.
Automatically, if there's a $675,000 grant award, we have to put in $33,750.
And then, so where does the 215 come in, and the 254, and then the 325?
Okay, so the 215 comes in because their lowest quote that they received was $890,805, and so the difference between $890,805 and the $33,750, they included the $5,000, but the grant writing fee is in the operating budget. It's already something we budgeted for. But 215, 33,750, and the 5,000 comes up to the 254, 554, which is the borough's expense if there's absolutely no changes before they award us.
They want us to
That's the
go,
bottom line.
they want us to commit to up to $325,000 because somewhere in the bidding process when this happens, the numbers will either go up or down, probably up. We don't want to get a grant and all of a sudden we don't have the funding for it.
So we don't know the cost of the truck that they're...
No, because it takes 24 to 36 months to build, costs can go up over that time. And there's
So when you enter the contract for the truck, it's not a fixed amount?
But we're not, that's the number we have today.
Okay.
We're
The
not,
problem is,
that was,
Right.
for December 20th, 2023. But we're not going to be able to do anything until we know that we have a grant, which could be 6-9 months from now.
And my concern about that is what if we don't get the 675 and they give us 400?
well, yeah, we're short.
But we're not doing anything to bond for this money today. He's asking for the mayor and council's commitment that if they were to get a $675,000 grant, that the mayor and council would be open to the balance of up to $325,000.
It's a 50% match, not a 5%.
No,
No, it's not
the
a
five
match.
is up front.
We're covering
No,
what's not covered in the
okay.
grant.
Yeah.
So which is about half.
No,
No.
no.
A quarter?
Yeah.
Well, if the truck is 675.
No, that's the grant.
That's the grant.
Trying to get
up.
800,000.
Gotcha, okay, the grant is.
They're looking, right now, they're running between 9 and 950.
Okay.
And part of it has to do with the new emissions.
Can I ask a question? So when they go for a truck and say, okay, we want that, isn't there a contract that?
Right, but we can't commit today to that quote, like they have
No,
a
I'm
quote.
just saying, I mean, you're saying that there could be increases
Between now and when we're able to enter into a contract with them.
between now,
Yes.
not when the contract.
No, once the
No.
contract, when we know we have the grant
Right.
and we've authorized the balance, we can assign a quote from the manufacturer.
And how long will this grant take, or how long do we have till?
The grant's pretty quick.
It's not, let's see, I'm not, no,
Exactly, it seems like we don't really have a choice. Yeah. In going forward with this. Harry, you're shaking your head.
I think we should go and approve going forward with the grant money and see if we get to 675. If we get to 675, then we could continue on. But I'm not willing to commit to...
but once the grant comes through, you have like
But
a
if the grant-
30-day period to accept the
Okay,
grant.
because my feeling is if the grant is 400,000, then the answer is...
But that's a whole different conversation.
It's a whole different conversation, yes.
Well, that 31-year-old truck is pretty.
Right now, we need to commit X amount of dollars contingent that we get $675,000 grant. That's the question before you.
Make a motion.
But we don't have to put this in any bond money now at this point
No,
until we
we're not
get
doing
nothing,
anything
anything.
until they
We
say-
know if we get the grant,
I
yes.
get that letter, it says, congratulations,
Okay.
you're getting $675.
This is just to
Right.
apply.
Then we order as fast
This
as
is
possible
just
for
the
the cost goes
application,
down.
it's not
Exactly.
a commitment.
I just want to add, like in the email, he also says there could be a pass-through expense from the mandated 2027 diesel
That's what I
emission
was talking about.
standard changes made by Congress. They do not, manufacturers don't know the cost associated with the compliance. So, it's always evolving, and safety standards are always evolving, but, you can't have, we all know about what this agreement looks like. We're talking about bungee cords and duct tape.
Yep.
So, We can't go on like that.
No, we have to protect the residents.
We do.
And we have
And the firefighters.
I don't
Yeah.
And the,
Yeah.
Would you- Would you like to make a motion?
Yes, sir, I would like to make the motion that, what she said.
and I second it.
So the motion is gonna be that the council commits to up to $325,000 and works with the fire department to pursue the grant they're going towards.
So it's 315. 325?
Is it 315 or 325?
325.
325.
I need a second on that motion.
Second.
Second,
Can we get a roll call, please?
yes.
Big numbers get roll calls.
Councilwoman San Houston.
Yes.
Councilwoman Starkey Hurley.
Yes.
Councilman Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
Good. Okay, on to number 6, Community Energy Planning Grant. Councilwoman Sanders.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, this grant, the numbers are a little bit easier to understand and a lot smaller. But the contribution to our community will also be as generous and grand as a new fire truck. So it's a $10,000 grant to create a community energy plan. So this is, offered through the BPU and the New Jersey Clean Energy Program. And what a community energy plan does is it helps a community to work toward a better environment for all residents using the state's energy master plan. So basically in 2018, the state made an energy master plan. The county has participated and created Bergen County has created an energy master plan. I was not able to find a document to read it. However, what this energy planning process is, they're talking about lowering greenhouse gas emissions, targeting to reduce energy use, reducing emissions, increase renewable energy. That means community solar, wind, geothermal. And basically the energy planning grant would give New Milford the opportunity to review all of the options and designate priorities. So this also includes assessing municipal buildings and looking towards creating priorities for energy efficiency. It also involves like planning for future buildings and deciding how to create future ordinances if it comes to that. But that's all depends on how it goes. So basically, this would be a first generation grant. So that would be, you would create an energy plan, and then following from the plan, you would be able to apply for implementation grants. So from the planning process, there will be opportunities to apply for implementation funding. Which means, let's say some building may need upgraded windows, and that would help save energy. And, right? If so, there would be possibility to apply for grants for building retrofit lighting. The DPW has taken advantage of some of this. There's also opportunities, let's see, where is it? Implementation grant. So it would be, the wording here is implementing high priority, high impact, practical and cost effective municipal projects supporting energy resilience, renewable energy, and energy efficiency. So we would be able to review the energy efficiency of our buildings, be able to make a plan to see where we needed to.
Who would be doing that, sir?
So the Environmental and Energy Commission has reviewed this, and they said that they would be willing to support this. Let's see, I had a note. There would be a committee, so a committee can be created, and this can be composed of representatives from at least 2 of these groups: government entities, business community, community organizations, residents, and a transportation partner.
So would you
So it can be a committee.
proposing a new committee then for that, if we get the grant?
Could be it.
Let's go back to,
Yeah,
what
what
is
comes
the
first?
grant gonna cover? The grant
The grant
covers
covers,
someone doing a study?
no, we get to create a plan. And it's, there's a workbook to go through, so it is, it would be the borough and it would be.
To apply for the grant, I'm wrong.
No. If we get the grant,
Plan.
to make the plan.
To make
Oh,
the
to make the
plan.
plan.
So basically, the plan also reviews, puts into the conversation, puts everything into the energy sustainability and resiliency plan for the borough. Like, we get to put it all in a big plan. Fleet, do we upgrade and transition any of our fleet to
What were we using
electric?
$10,000 for?
To create the plan.
Is in what way though? How?
Is it
So is this
It's a paper document.
$10,000.
Is it a matching grant?
It is a
No.
full
Please.
100%.
You didn't go for it.
No, but, like, is it to create, will you have someone, assisting in the grant, in the, creating the energy plan?
And what was the
Is that-
cost?
Would it
What was
pay
the-
for that?
What would the costs cover, right?
So it covers administrative costs. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So, don't you need to create a committee to?
Who's going to apply for the grant? Are we going to have our grant writer apply for the grant?
Yes.
It would be, yes, Millennium would,
Okay, so we get the grant, and once we get the grant, we get the $10,000, then we form a committee. I'm just trying to put everything together here. And then the committee could spend it as they see fit to create this document.
Appropriately, not as they see fit, appropriately.
Unpaid payments for any purpose related to the creation of the community energy plan, including staff salaries, overhead, consultants, supplies, and other direct expenses.
and the Environmental and Energy Commission, I brought this in front of them, and they said that they would be willing to spearhead this project. The Sustainable Jersey, the Green Team.
Support that, I would think. Getting a plan like this would be good for Sustainable Jersey, I would imagine.
Yeah, and it is a priority action for Sustainable
I'm
Jersey.
imagining it's like, like we have planning incentive status, and that's one thing Marlon Kesey always drove home with us. You guys have this, you got a long time ago, you are eligible for more of these categories, more money, and all this other stuff. That's what's gonna happen with something like this down the road.
Right, the plan will help the borough.
I think it's a good idea.
In numerous ways. And
There's no match, and we have people who are willing to.
Make a motion.
Would you like to make a motion?
That's right.
Everything that you said.
I make a motion that we apply for the Community Energy Plan
I think.
grant.
Make it a roll call, please.
Yes. Councilwoman Samuelson.
Yes.
Councilman Starkey Hurley.
Yes.
Councilwoman Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
Number 7, 2024 budget update, administrator.
Yes. Just a very, very brief report. The Budget Committee has met, just sat with the CFO. We went through the departmental requests, discussed a few things that we thought we needed to talk about, such as, road program possibilities for going forward, and we provided all of the information to the auditor for him to drop into the budget document to just get us a sense of where we are. And we're scheduling our department meetings for the DPW, the fire department, police department, and library to talk about their individual budgets more in depth. And once we have those meetings and we can fine-tune some of the numbers, we're also waiting for the annual financial statement, which will give us information about our current surplus, etc. And we will, at that point, have something for the council to review, and in anticipation of our introduction, which should be by the end of March.
Is the townwide reassessment happening this year?
Yes, happy to report. The first step in making that happen was to redo our tax map. And it was a long, arduous process that we went through with the engineer, and we just recently got approval from the state. And that is the key to us moving forward.
It occurred to me, I hadn't heard about it, and I vaguely remember budgeting for it last year.
Yeah, we're well into it, actually.
Yes.
It started already?
We're well into the budgeting for it and paying for it.
We're paying for it over 5 years. And last year we put the first installment for the reval itself, and then we added the tax map that we had to do. So this year we're putting in the first payment for the map and the second payment for the
So
reval.
when will it actually start?
It's going to start
Soon.
momentarily, yes. The assessor is working with the reval company, which we had a contract with since, I think, 2022 at this point. Yeah.
Thank you.
And reminder, this is state mandated.
Right.
Yes.
Correct.
We're actually behind.
Yes.
We're actually behind
Because
because of
of COVID and because of extenuating circumstances related to COVID, your assessor has gotten 2 extensions from the Bergen County Board of Taxation.
Yes.
We're not trying to remember.
Right, this was ordered by the county that we have to move forward with this.
Okay, item number 8 is schedule our dates, myself. Thursday, February 15th, is the Blue Acres buyout meetings, sponsored by the NJDEP. It's from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. It is a virtual meeting. If anyone is interested, the link to this meeting is on the New Milford Borough website. On Sunday, February 18th, is the Elks Pancake Breakfast fundraiser, sponsored by the New Milford Teaneck Elks. It's from 8 to 11:30 a.m. at the New Milford Teaneck Elks Lodge, which is right down the street. For more information, you can go to the Elks website or Facebook page. On Thursday, February 22nd, is Gibbs Night Out fundraiser, sponsored by BF Gibbs PTO. It is at 6 p.m. It takes place at the Grey Cliff in Moonachie. For more information, you can go to the Gibbs PTO website or Facebook page. And on Saturday, March 10th, is New Milford's second annual Crescent Moon Lighting. Sunday, March 10th. That's correct, right? Sunday, March 10th?
Yes.
Yes.
It is the second annual Crescent Moon Lighting, sponsored by the New Milford Public Defense Committee. It will take place at 7 p.m. on the front of the Borough Hall lawn. More information will be up on the borough's website and my Facebook page. And this will also be a food donation event. So we're going to ask everyone who attends just to bring a canned good. We'll have cans lying out, fill it up, and the next day we'll deliver it all to the Milford Food Pantry. If there's any other events in February or March that I missed? I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I have to check the dates on the canned goods.
Yeah, oh, yes, of course. Please do not bring expired.
Yeah, we say of course, but how many?
It goes on the flyer. Yes. Please do not bring old cans. Thank you. Item number 9. Oh, I'm sorry, did I miss
February 27th, the planning board will be meeting and will continue to hear from borough entities about their concerns on what they would like to see the master plan address. So they're all invited, and the public is always invited to express their opinions.
7:30.
In the courtroom.
In the courtroom. Yes.
Yep. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Item number 9 is administrative report.
Thanks, Mayor.
But how could there be more?
I know, well, I was going to say, and it's good that it was a short report because I left it on the printer. Other than the budget report that we just went over, the only other thing that I was going to report on is the fact that we are closed on February 19th for President's Day, and that the next meeting of the Mayor and Council is February 26th, 2 weeks from tonight.
Has everyone had a chance to look at the resolutions? Are there any that need to be pulled for further discussion and/or vote? Very good. Why don't we quickly, we'll go around the table, give any highlights or anything really important on your committees or commissions. And we're going to start with, what about Council President Graham?
Thank you so much, Mayor. I want to tell you that the rabies clinic on Saturday was wonderful. We had a very large attendance. There were a number of people from Bergenfield, although most of the people were from New Milford, and it's the warmest rabies clinic we've ever had, and I've been doing this a very long time. So it was wonderful, and thank you to the DPW again for arranging the setup, which works so very well, and to Joan LePage, who organizes it brilliantly, and to Marion Maharaj and Eileen Mulroy for volunteering, and Dr. Carberry, who is just always terrific. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, let's go, Councilman Grunson.
Thank you, Mayor. I've been busy with the budget, and that's pretty much it up until now. Thank you.
Plus, he's on a cruise, that's what
I was on
Yeah. The cocktail was great.
Thank you, Mayor. The Flood Mitigation Committee met and had a reorg, and Mr. Richard Ludwicki is the new chair. Congratulations to Rich. And the committee is excited to start the new year.
Excellent.
Yep.
Councilman Sandy.
The green team is working on the Trex plastics recycling program. Community recycling program is very popular. We have bins at the library, the senior center, here in Borough Hall, and there's one at the high school as well. So their collections are going. There's about nearly 200 pounds of plastics collected.
Really? That's 1/5 of the way, right?
Yeah, 1,000 is the goal. And we do request that when
I'm
people,
impressed.
when people bring in bags, it's been really great. People are bringing full bags in, but we do request that they're clear plastic bags, because they're just, everything has to be clear plastic. No green plastic bags, no garbage bags. So just to make sure that everything is clean inside. So that's a request of the green team. But otherwise, it's going very nicely, very well. So thank you.
Excellent.
I just have to ask, where are we keeping that? Just like curious minds want to know.
It gets delivered.
Oh my God. I'm like, where on earth are they keeping all
My
this?
house is the way station, and then it gets transported to
But you
the
can
shop.
I
squish
hope
that.
those bags are definitely clean since they're being stored.
So,
Yes.
but we have to, the green team has, the reason for the large bags to be clear is because everything has to be delivered in clear bags.
Councilman Saraki Hurley.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to reiterate, and which I'll probably be saying until June 8th, we are having another Hall of Fame like we did last year. So right now, we're putting boxes at the library, at the senior center here at the Borough Hall, for anyone who would like to put in a name that they feel should be part of the Hall of Fame. And then it's going to be gathered, these names, and then eventually voted upon. The affair is June 8th, possibly most likely at the Elks Club, and it should be a nice little evening out.
Absolutely. And you could also go, I had posted it on the Facebook page, you can just use the link, and you could vote as well.
And it's on the website.
It's on the website.
Yeah.
Yep. Excellent.
So, yeah. They could also be deceased.
Oh, yeah.
Time to vote.
One person, is it one person, one vote, or can you vote what you want?
That's it, thank you.
You're welcome. Councilwoman Bell.
I'm gonna, hold my report for the next meeting. We have a pretty big closed session and, things are going along. You heard enough from me, didn't you?
Correct? Sounds great. The only thing I will add is, I had, before this meeting, I had sent out a post, garbage collection in the north end of town is suspended tomorrow. It'll take place now on Wednesday, the 14th, so
John,
start Valentine's Day with garbage cans on the street.
At 12 o'clock, we got a call that they were definitely picking up. When did that change?
Changed on my way here.
Okay.
Who did you get a call?
No, I was down at DPW.
No.
And so was on the phone.
So don't confuse anyone, it is.
Yeah, I know.
Postponed till Wednesday.
Yeah.
It was like
Postponed
4
in
o'clock
town.
this afternoon.
Okay, yeah, I know. It's guaranteed we're gonna be picking up tomorrow.
And while we were at this meeting, we got notifications that school is closed tomorrow, so the Milford Public School District will be closed tomorrow. So if anyone didn't get that message, you're hearing here. And the other thing I wanted to mention is we want to congratulate Captain Van Saters, who graduated from the New Jersey State Association Chiefs of Police
Very nice.
Command and Leadership Academy.
Great.
So kudos to him. I think it's just a testament to the kind of police department we have, and it's just great, and we're happy for him.
And Catherine Virginia was going to the same course.
That's excellent.
It's always been outstanding.
That's terrific.
And
Congratulations.
that is all I have. Of course. Okay, with that, I would ask for a motion to open to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, we are open to the public. If anyone has any questions or comment, you get 5 minutes. All we ask is you give us your name, do not give us your address. You have to stand up, spin around 3 times, and then say something.
Click your Ruby shoes together.
Thank you. I just want to thank everyone tonight. It was interesting what I saw. I learned a little bit. And appreciate you hearing from me. My name is Darryl Serial. I won't give you my address as stated, and I enjoyed it actually.
Thank you. Well,
I enjoyed it.
great. Yeah.
I worked with you for a couple weeks in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Each month, it's usually same bat time, same bat channel, so.
But thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thanks for coming.
nice seeing
May
you.
I get a
Happy
motion to close?
Valentine's, don't
No,
forget your
thank
wife.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Thank
opposed?
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I got it.
Good night.
So ladies and gentlemen,
Bye-bye.
I'm going to ask for a motion to go into close. We're going to go into closed session, and when we come out of close, we will take no action other than to adjourn
We
this
have to
meeting.
vote on the resolutions first, though.
Right.
I'm sorry.
May I get a motion to approve resolutions 2024:62 through 2024:75?
Motion, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I get a motion to go into closed session?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Can we take 5?
Yes. Yes. Gentlemen, thank you very much, and happy Valentine's Day. And if we do get a lot of snow, don't forget Prospect Park. With lights now.
I was going there.
So there'll be some nice light.
I'm making the,
Oh, cool.
other thing, just like you.
But we're not getting any snow.
I can